What's up, folks? Welcome back to the vlog. Excuse the hair, I'm about to get dressed. I will say that vlogging every day has been challenging. Just trying to think of a video to make that isn't just like whatever I'm up to that day, but also a little bit of a story and sharing while I'm also editing like the previous day's videos or avoiding editing the previous day's videos entirely. But it has still been a really fun challenge for me, and today I'm gonna talk about 3 different canon events that are related to friendships. I have some errands I want to run with my mom, but first I'm gonna get dressed and I'm gonna wear a hat. I'm too lazy to do my hair. Let's get it. Alright, I'm dressed now, ready to go. We're gonna go do some thrift shopping because I want to get like something for here, as you saw in yesterday's vlog, that I can display some items in, but also enclosed. Also, my period started, which I am grateful for because I was worried that it was being delayed or if I was gonna miss it, because unfortunately I haven't been so good about my diet since moving back to California, and that really impacts like your period, your diet, the stress you're putting your body under. And with the amount of working out that I've been doing, I shouldn't be having like 2 meals, I should be having 3. But I just get really lazy like leaving my room in the morning, so by the time that I actually get out of my room, it's lunchtime, and that's also when I do my first workout. So if you skip your period, that is not a good sign. It usually means there's something going on in your body that you're not paying attention to, either stress, sleep, other factors. I say all that, make sure that if you're supposed to be menstruating, make sure that you're menstruating regularly. You should be trying to track it just so you have like an idea of when and where like you should be having your period. So here's also my reminder to actually just eat 3 square meals like I'm supposed to. Okay, so let's go find something in the thrift store, hopefully. A canon event would be a significant point or event that happens that kind of changes the trajectory of your life. But I'm gonna keep these 3 stories to ones that happened in my 20s because it shows a very particular time in my life. Right now I'm prioritizing this cat. She's so cute. Also, her name is Hoi. So while I'm waiting for my mom to get ready, I'll tell you the first friend canon event was my freshman year roommate. This is a person that I share a triple with. Oh, you're ready?
Yeah, but to Papa.
Oh yeah, okay.
You want?
No. Okay, so it was my freshman year roommate. And we were like, I thought we were really cool. We went to parties together. We had similar classes. She was always hanging out, down to go get food together, all that stuff. In my second quarter at UC San Diego, needed to go on a retreat for the organization that I was pledging for. So it was a whole weekend where I was gonna bring like any technology, but I needed someone to submit my paper that was due over the weekend. Like, hey, can you actually turn this in for me on Turnitin.com, which is the platform we use, and it like reads if you have any matching like words or verbiage with any other of the turned in papers. So I asked her to turn it in. She turns it in for me. A few weeks pass and my TA goes like, oh yeah, I can't give you your paper back. I need to talk to you about it. I was like, but why? My TA told me, well, we found some similarities between you and this person. And I was like, interesting. And I told my TA like, do you know that we're roommates? And she's like, no, I didn't know that. This is under the Making of the Modern World, which was the writing program at Eleanor Roosevelt College, one of the now 7 colleges at UC San Diego. We were investigated by the department head for having really similar papers. They asked us to both come in. They showed our papers in front of the other person with highlights showing the ways that they were similar. I didn't copy shit. She did, because she hadn't even started it by the time I told her, like, can you turn mine in for me? The reason this is a canon event is because I obviously didn't want to live with her after that. College offered like, hey, do you want to live somewhere else? And I was like, yeah, actually, this girl, Jocelyn, she has an extra room, or has an extra space in her room because her roommate left. That's the canon event. I'll tell you more about that later. Mama. Oh, you're cute, man. The joys of vlogging. I just recorded this whole segment with my front-facing camera instead of this camera. So I'm gonna start over. I'm in the parking lot. I'm at a thrift store waiting for my mom. Found a really cool Scrabble set and she loves playing Scrabble, so that's what I bought. And then she's still perusing in there, so I didn't want to rush her, so I figured I'd do this now. That event ended up becoming a canon event. You know, I felt devastated because wow, like this person who'd been my friends for the last few months, thought I could trust, I ended up not being able to. I thought she was so cool, but fact of the matter was she was looking out for herself, and I understand that. That hadn't happened, I wouldn't have met my friend Jocelyn, who's still one of my best friends now. From that point on, when we became roommates, we went to all these events together in college. We went to free events. We would get each other food. If the other one couldn't go, we would tell each other like, hey, you should go to this on your way back because they got like this going on. And she was so much better for me in the kinds of things that we did together. Like we did things not as recklessly as my previous roommate and I did, because my previous roommate and I, like, we got wasted a lot and we got blackout drunk many times. And my life would be really different if I'd stayed friends with her, and that, like, maybe that cheating thing had never happened, but she eventually probably would have done something even worse. Because if that's what she was capable of at 18, who knows what she would have been capable of like later on in life.
Hindi mo sinabi.
Ate, next kita. Sandali, may itatapusin ako na video. So that's my first canon friend event, and I learned that I needed to find friends who are more responsible, more focused in their careers, and were more ambitious, because that first roommate wasn't. And if I hadn't gotten that friendship out of it, I'd be really sad about what happened. But now I have like a tremendous 12-year relationship with a friend who's awesome and still by my side, instead of somebody who is willing to copy my paper. What are you doing?
I'm looking for the food that we can eat.
Okay. Mama. Isa lang? Wow. Yeah. Little slots. Ooh. Ah.
Oh, may scorer pa sila. Naiwan.
Oh, look at this. Oh, look. Oh.
Yeah, that costs $100. More than $100.
So we got it for $7. Thrifting rocks. So I just dropped my mom off from doing all our thrifting. We're really excited about that Scrabble. Pretty sweet deal, if you're asking me. No one asked me, and I know that. So let's get on to story number 2. And by the way, I'm driving to my partner's new apartment. This friend was someone that I worked with. We also became roommates after that. And so they became like a really, really close friend to me. We hung out all the time. We did stuff together. We cooked for each other, all that sort of stuff. I went to the Philippines after graduating college. This is the time in which I was really lost. And when I came back, I told her, like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to like move in with you in a new place. I just don't know what my income will be like once I get there. So I told her that while I was still in the Philippines, because I was gonna be there for 2 months. I realized that's kind of when the relationship started disintegrating. She didn't reach out to me as much when I was in the Philippines anymore, and I was in a different time zone, so it was hard for me to also reach out, you know, but I didn't think too much of it. But when I came back, I felt like the distance between us had kind of grown, and I think she felt like I was taking her for granted, but really I was just trying to survive. And ultimately, by the end of our lease at the place we were still living together at, because I still lived there for a little bit after coming back from the Philippines, I sent her one last text message to kind of try and say I'm sorry. I did mess up sometimes, a few times in that time between when I came back from the Philippines and when I ultimately left our shared apartment. Also felt like she could have talked to me about them rather than building the resentment, because I didn't know she still had like resentment from, or me deciding not to live with her. Basically, she told me that she had been feeling unappreciated in our friendship, and that I was taking her for granted and her kindness for granted. And I acknowledged that. I tried to apologize. We fell out of touch. It was really hard for me to deal with that friend breakup because I was like, damn, what did I do wrong? You know, like, how could I have been better? And it wasn't until maybe like 2 or 3 years later that I really saw, like, and I would have appreciated her just like sitting me down and telling me these things as they happen so that I could try to correct them. It tore me up. I felt like a terrible person, and I was at the time. You know, I wasn't making the best choices. I wasn't being kind to everybody. I wasn't being kind to myself. And that friend breakup was an event because I needed to learn how to really love myself in order to love other people. Sometimes you have to learn that your actions have repercussions on others, and you also have to learn that you owe it to yourself to speak your truth. The difference between the version of me that was in that friendship and the version of me now is that I check in with people a lot more and I ask them where we're at. I'm also much more blunt and forward. I expect them to do the same. Again, like, I'm not a mind reader, you know, like, you have to be able to tell me, like, hey, I don't feel good about this. Hey, that doesn't seem right to me. Like, I don't know unless you fucking tell me. All right, I'll tell you at the next spot when I park. So I just got to my partner's new place, and I'm gonna finish up this story here before I go in there. So the last canon event that I wanted to share is one that happened like maybe a year after I lost the previous friend in my life. And this is a person that was my best friend. We basically, as soon as we met, felt like a younger sibling to me. I'm the one who kind of felt underappreciated in this friendship. Every time that they reached out to me, it would be because of a crisis, not just to check in on me, but make sure that I could take care of them. And otherwise, I might not hear from them for like longer periods of time. And I prefer to be in friendships with people. Like, it's okay for us to like come in and out of each other's lives, but I would like for us to also not only call each other in times of crisis. I don't want to just feel needed. I want to feel like wanted and included in your life. And I remember, unfortunately, you know, I yelled at this friend when I was really drunk, and I told them how bad of a friend they had been being to me, rather than being able to tell them like what I needed and what I wanted in our friendship. That ended. It sucked. Within a span of like 2 years, I had lost 2 separate friendships. And I think that says a lot about where I was in life, my inability to really care for myself, and in that vein, also properly care for other people, my inability to communicate my needs because I barely even knew what my needs are other than surviving for my next paycheck or whatever it is that I needed to do next. I was really selfish in that time, and not in a I had good boundaries way. I was selfish in the I was just taking and taking from others way. That's the end of my stories, I guess. And I think about this because, especially this last one, because I'm friends with that person now. We reconnected right before I moved to Chicago. I'm really glad that like this friend and I like ended up back in each other's lives, and now we have a much healthier relationship, much more understanding. We've also just grown a lot in being able to express what we really want in life. People always talk about romantic relationships, but friend breakups hurt too. You know, you might not always be in a romantic relationship, but you're always going to need community to support you. It doesn't have to be romantic for it to be significant. In these friendships and in these canon events around friendships, I've learned so much about myself, what I need and want in life, the kind of people that need to be around me in order for me to thrive and feel like I can be myself. And I think that's my takeaway for today. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening to all of these car conversations. I wish you well, and I wish your friends well.
Smell this, but you can.
Smells fresh linen.
Freshly washed.
This is Uncle Bear. If you haven't seen him before, Uncle Bear is, how old is Uncle Bear?
Over 60. I don't actually know the exact number, I'll be honest.
So cute. Bye, Uncle Bear. Say bye to everybody.